Hi there. My name is Leif Gregerson, and this is my good friend Shawn Andrews. Shawn has a lot of interesting experiences to relate, and so I thought I would do an interview with him. Shawn is my roommate here at Meadows Lodge. He lives right across the hall from me, and every time I walk up the stairs, he has a joke ready for me. Not always the cleanest joke, but
hmm
still a pretty funny one. Shawn, is there anything you'd like to say to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm East Indian. And even though I have a white sounding name, my parents come from the Christian minority in India. And I get the feeling that Russell Peters, who is an established East Indian comedian, he most likely comes from Christian East Indian background as well. That's why we both have white sounding names,
And
even
we're
though we're
both
clearly
going to
not
get
white.
hurt really bad.
All right.
Now, okay, the main focus of these interviews I wanted to get across was basically mental health issues, but there's some other issues Shawn wanted to discuss. I'm just going to start. Shawn, do you recall a time now when you were young when it seemed to be that you were at one point normal and at the next point having problems? Is there a time like that in your life?
Well, I've been suffering from clinical depression since the age of 16, but it wasn't diagnosed. I thought that all people went through this. I didn't know that my circumstances were out of the ordinary. And coming from an East Indian family, I mean, we just didn't talk about those sorts of things. Mental illness was taboo. I mean,
Hmm.
I do have a serious case of clinical depression, which most people find hard to believe since I have a very good sense of humor. How do you explain this? My hair. So
That's really enlightening. I'm already learning a lot about you, Shawn, because when I was 16 and 17, I was going through clinical depression as well, and it wasn't the sort of thing that was talked about. I kind of thought it was a normal thing, and yeah, so that's pretty amazing.
Well, at the same time, it was my senior high school year in Harry Inley Composite High School right here in Edmonton, and I was really drinking too much, and that probably contributed to it. There's probably a genetic tendency towards depression on my dad's side of the family, which I take after, but the alcohol made it worse.
Did your dad ever discuss any of these problems with you when after you had been diagnosed, or?
He did. He said, "Why didn't you say anything? You were suffering in silence all those years when you were growing up under our roof." I said, "Yeah, I didn't know how to approach the subject. Like I said, I didn't know if anything was wrong. I thought everybody felt like this. And
Yeah.
due to the stigma of mental illness, I just chose not to talk about it for the sake that I'd be ostracized or thought of as a weirdo. You
Yeah.
know.
Hmm. Now, what were some of the indications? Now, you shared with me before. You don't have to share here, but you shared with me before that you had some addictions. Do you feel that maybe some of these addictions, if you want to talk about them, might have aided in the path down towards depression? Or
Well, it all started in my first year of grade 10. I was dating a much older woman without my parents' knowledge,
hmm
and she ended up coming to a terrible end in a car accident, which I wasn't responsible for, but I blame myself for. And I felt I couldn't tell my parents about her because she was white, and my parents insisted on me marrying a white girl. I mean, they've totally changed now. They're more open minded now, but
hmm
and she was a much older woman, and I felt I couldn't talk to someone about this because I felt my parents would find out and I'd be the black sheep of the family.
hmm
But in order to deal with my grief of losing her, my clinical depression worsened when I got started drinking, just to drown out any. I just thought if I was blotto, that would be preferable to be feeling sober and just all this depression I was feeling.
Yeah.
And this experience only heightened it. And then the more I drank, the more it became an issue.
Now, something I know about you that our listeners might not know. You grew up actually in the United States,
I did, yeah.
and I guess a lot of things were different down there. Did now what can you tell us about the educational system? Was it difficult? Was there a lot of bullies? Was
No
it?
more bullies than any other place. But I
Mhm.
figured I would start doing those substances in Canada. But I suffered in silence in the United States. I thought,
Mhm.
I mean, Canadians are wonderful. I love Canadians, but uh, we had our problems with bullies everywhere you went. It's
Oh
it's a
yeah.
North American phenomenon,
Mhm.
but it really started picking up steam in Canada.
Oh,
Not
okay.
because Canadians are worse than Americans, but because I was really starting to act out because of my depression. I was really starting to manifest physically. I'd be rude to people, and just I'd have to bite my tongue to keep from snapping at people because I was just feeling so terrible. It just cost too much energy to be happy at that
Oh,
point.
yeah. Now I'm going to share something with you. Now you've shared something with me, and I'd like you to share it on camera. But to make you comfortable, I want to share something that happened to me with you. Now when I was I think I was 18, I had gone back to school, and I was trying to get my grades up, and I was going through depressions, different things, and I was trying to be perfect. I wanted to be perfect. I had quit smoking. I had quit drinking. I'd done all these things, but somehow my mental health was degrading. And one of the things I felt I could be perfect at was being a socialist. And I felt if I just give to everybody, give away everything, fight everything for the good cause. And one afternoon, a friend stopped by, and we went down to this socialist organization, and we were going to volunteer. And just for no reason, I got up and walked out. And I walked a long time to my sister's house, and I knocked on the door, and my brother-in-law answered, and he said, "Oh, this is not a good time. We're busy right now." And I just walked right in past him, and I laid down on the sofa. And my justification for doing this was that many times I had asked to come over, and I was feeling lonely, and I needed my sister basically. And so I thought, no, many times this had happened, and he had said, "Oh, your brother came over," and he just didn't say anything. He just came over. There was nothing to do. So I thought, okay, well maybe that's the solution. If I want to see them, I'll just go over and not say anything. But actually, what happened was my brother-in-law struck me quite harshly in the stomach while I was laying on the sofa, and I didn't know what to do. I went outside, and it's embarrassing as hell, but I took off all my clothes, and I was screaming and yelling in the hallway, and I was arrested and taken to the hospital, and yeah, that's something I wanted to share with you because you have a similar story.
Yes, I was on one of my drinking binges in high school. This was years ago. Leaf and I are both in our 40s, and this happened when I was in senior high school. I had a little too much to drink again, and I started taking off my clothes and running down Edmonton's main street naked. I thought invisible snakes were chasing me, and I figured if I was naked, I'd be invisible too. And people were laughing. Some people were laughing. Some people were shocked. I was just running down saying, "Run for your lives, everybody. The snakes are coming. The snakes are coming." And the cops eventually caught up to me, but they were laughing all the way. And they put a giant Crime Stoppers t-shirt on me, and I had to wait for one of my girlfriends to pick me up. So,
Now this seems funny in some ways, but the fact is, now at the time, for the sufferer, this seemed like a logical thing to do, and the implications of it are horrible. Nobody ever trusts you again. Nobody ever, people blacklist you and things like that, and even I even had family members blacklist me. After this happened at my sister's apartment, they never let me come over again, and I love my sister dearly, and it was very disturbing. But yeah, is there any other stories you wanted to relate that had occurred while you were sick?
well, I remember for many years they were trying to pinpoint the right medications to use on me. And sometimes I have to bite my tongue to keep from snapping at people because, again, I'm the last person you'd ever think of as having a mental illness. And both Leaf and I, we both have our employment activities, and our bosses know about our issues. Thank God they're still very open minded.
Mm-hmm.
But in the East Indian community, it's very patriarchal and very conservative. You just didn't talk about things like this in the East Indian community. And like Leaf, I was also worried that my family might look at me as different or like the black sheep of the family because of this, something I had no control over. My parents are wonderful people. They're very open-minded, and so is my brother. I haven't spoken to my brother in years, but yeah, there's no distance between my brother and I. We just grew apart. But my parents, I call them every day, and they ask me, "Shawn, how are you doing?" I I just I was worrying for nothing. I was making it out to be more than it actually was.
Hmm. Now, I don't know how far you want to get into this. We haven't got too much time left. We can always make another interview at another point. But
Sure.
I know you're quite a weightlifter, and here, go like this for the camera.
Oh, it won't. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
This,
use your other arm.
yeah, they don't look that big now, but
This man is huge. This man could stop a garbage truck. Um, Now, at certain times, you did use performance enhancing drugs.
I have. Yeah, I'm trying to get some of my friends to testify about our drug use in the community, so younger kids won't make the same mistakes we did.
Hmm.
But I can't testify to where I got them from because I only have hearsay. I don't have actual physical evidence.
Yeah.
But I got them from a friend of mine on the high school football team, and basically I thought if I were bigger and stronger. The name of my girlfriend at the time, my much older girlfriend, her name was Catherine McDonald, and I figured if I were on performance enhancing drugs, I'd be strong enough and fast enough physically to protect my next girlfriend. And basically, Catherine and I were walking across an intersection, and this drunk driver came out of nowhere, and she pushed me out of the way, and she didn't have time to get out of the way herself. And for the next 22 years of my life in Edmonton, Canada, I would blame myself for her death. And I figured if steroids, they make you big, they make you fast, they make you stronger.
Yeah.
Literally, they work, but they end up killing you after a while. I was very lucky I'm still alive. I did them way too much. And I'm just saying, I'm trying to get through to some of my friends on the high school football team just to get together and just to tell kids to stay away from this stuff. You don't know how dangerous this stuff is. Mm-hmm. I know you tell a kid not to shove beans up his nose, and what do you see 10 seconds later? A kid with beans up his nose. I'm just saying, I'm not saying this for my health. I'm just saying this so kids don't make the same mistakes I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to shut her down soon. But I guess what I was curious about was there ever any connection made by your doctors between your steroid use and your mental health issues?
I talked to my current psychiatrist, Dr. Corey Zarnicki, great guy. He and my previous psychiatrist think there's a definite link. In my case, there was a tendency towards clinical depression on my dad's side of the family, but I overdid the steroids. You're only supposed to stay on them for a few months. I did them for more than a few months, for a period of 5 or 6 straight years, and I'm lucky to be alive.
Okay, Shawn. Well, thank you very much for coming to do the interview with us. I don't know, is there anything more you'd like to say? We have a few seconds.
To my East Indian members of my family, this guy, my roommate, Leif Gregerson, he's one hell of an author. You'll like his books. They'll give you more of an insight into mental illness and how it affects human beings, no matter what it may be. I'm just saying to my East Indian members of my family, whenever I misbehaved as a kid, my parents would say, somebody going to get hurt real bad. I'm going to say, buy my roommate's book or somebody going to get hurt real bad.
Yeah, just so you know, my book is Through the Withering Storm, and it's available on Amazon.com. And I also have a website. I'm probably going to put this all up as text on the video here. I have a website, www.valhallabooks.com, and that's where you can find some free chapters and some information. And these videos, for depending on where you found them, they're mostly posted on my Words Valhalla Books Facebook page. Thank you very much, folks. Have a great day.